Hey, what's going on guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. So one of the big mysteries when you're selling on Amazon FBA is how do you compete with Amazon? Amazon is on almost half of all of the products on the Amazon marketplace, and how do we compete with them so that we can sell some of the very fast moving profitable products that they're selling? And this is very simple, but I'm going to throw a lot of information at you guys in this video, and it's going to be very fast because I don't want to make it too long. So if you need to watch it again, then just make sure to watch it again so you guys can really just really learn the information I'm going to give you guys, so you guys aren't worried about competing with Amazon, and it's a little bit more clear when you are looking at listings and you decide whether you should jump on with Amazon or stay away from it completely. Now I'm going to go over a few different examples of when you should be on a listing and when you shouldn't be on a listing, but I'm really going to focus on when you shouldn't be on a listing, because that is the biggest thing that you want to avoid. Because if you get on a listing with Amazon and they aren't sharing the buy box whatsoever, your inventory is just going to sit there. And if they can dump the price way lower than it is, and you don't really see those signs, and then you jump in there hoping that you're going to snag some sales, it's going to be all bad for you. So I'm going to focus on when you shouldn't jump on a listing, and I'm also going to show you obviously when you should jump on a listing so you guys can get some sales. All right, so the first listing that we're going to go over is Amazon absolutely dominates this listing. Okay, so we're going to turn everything off that we aren't interested in right at the moment. So we're just going to have Amazon, sales rank, and buy box. And since the last time I've shown you guys Keepa has also introduced a third chart. So it used to be just this one and historical data, but now they've introduced this center graph, which is just the sales graph for the main category and subcategories or child categories. But we're focused on up here. So we want to see how often Amazon is sharing this buy box with on this listing. And in this listing for the last 3 months, they aren't sharing whatsoever, right? So you can see me hovering over the line. The pink line is the buy box, and it just says Amazon, and I mean, it's just a completely straight line. Okay, they run out of inventory here for a little bit, and they're just completely dominating the buy box for the last 3 months. If we go back a year, you can see that they're pretty much dominating the buy box. They share it a little bit back here, but if they share it a little bit a year ago and they're not sharing it whatsoever recently, then for me personally, I stay away from it. So we're here, and they're just completely dominating this buy box. I mean, some sellers get a couple sales here, I believe. Oh no. Oh, right there. Yeah, and it's because Amazon ran out of inventory. But this is a listing that Amazon completely dominates the buy box. The buy box doesn't ever go to any other seller but Amazon, as you can see right here. Okay, so that's one. This is very clear. And this is another one. This is Amazon competing with other sellers, but obviously they're gonna win. Amazon has much deeper pockets than any of us sellers do, so they can get these prices way lower than we can. So if you go in hoping that you're going to drop the price by $1 or $2 or whatever you're thinking, that it's like, okay, this is a big enough drop that Amazon's going to give me these sales, they may still not give them to you because they're getting the price way cheaper than you, and they're still going to take that. They're going to still just chase you as you're trying to drop the price. So, which is what we can see here. So here Amazon is selling for $10.95, and I'm assuming somebody dropped it and they went down to $4.11. Okay, or maybe they just dropped it for some reason. But goes from $10.95 to $4.11. So that's a 50% drop, and they're still just chasing the buy box. And then they go back up, then they go back down, then they go back up, down, and then they run out of inventory. So there's other sellers getting the buy box here because they don't have any inventory. But as soon as they come back into inventory, then they're dominating the buy box again, and it's just the same story the whole time. So they're just chasing the buy box, whether it goes up or down, they're going to be capitalizing on it. So Amazon completely dominates this Keepa graph as well, this product, and this is just 3 months. I can go back a year if you want, but this is what I want to focus on, because this is the example that I want to show you guys. Because some listings are just completely straight line, and whatever Amazon's at, that's what it is. That's what it's going to be selling at. But other listings are like this, where it's going up and down, up and down. Amazon's chasing the buy box no matter what price it's going at, and other sellers, unless they take a massive loss, they're not going to be able to beat them on listings like this. All right, so this is Amazon chasing you, just so you guys know. The other one was a completely flat line, but both are examples of Amazon dominating the buy box. Now this next one is another example. It goes up and down, but it's a little less chaotic, but it's still an example of you guys, so you guys can see that Amazon's dominating this buy box as well. And there's other sellers on all of these listings. All of these other listings that I'm showing you, I mean, there's upwards of 18 sellers at one point. Currently, there's like 12 sellers on this one. On this one, there is 14 other sellers. So there's other competition other than just Amazon, and Amazon is still able to completely dominate this buy box. So I think you guys get the point. This is just another example of Amazon dominating the buy box, whether it goes up, whether it goes down. All right, so now let me show you an example of Amazon sharing the buy box. So this one looks very similar to some of the other ones that I've already showed you, because if you can see here, it's Amazon winning, and then there's a big drop, Amazon. So it looks like they're winning, but they're not. So if we come back here a little bit, you can see third parties winning, and this is the last 3 months, okay? And their third party is right there with Amazon winning the buy box at the exact same price as Amazon. I love seeing this because then it's like you don't have to undercut them. You can sell right alongside them, and you're going to be getting as many sales you're going to be getting a rotation in the buy box. Sometimes you're going to run into listings where you're going to have to drop the price. So you're going to have to undercut Amazon in order to win the buy box. Sometimes it's by very, very little, and sometimes it's by a little bit more. But if you look at the keeper graph, you can see where the sellers are, that as far as how much are they undercutting Amazon. Sometimes it's a big cut, and sometimes it's a small cut, and then sometimes you don't have to undercut them at all. You can sell right alongside them, just like this example here. So Amazon's sharing the buy box quite a bit right here, and then they take it over for a little bit, and then once it comes back up, it's straight back to third party. Let me turn these other filters off. But they're consistently sharing the buy box in recent months. Okay, so the last 3 months. So here, people are undercutting them and they're winning the buy box quite a bit these last 3 months. So if we go back a year, we'll go back to over here, and Amazon's still sharing the buy box back here. As you can see, they need to undercut Amazon, but they're still able to win the buy box. Same thing over here. Some people really undercut them by quite a bit. But sometimes you can see these two diamonds right here. These are third-party sellers undercutting Amazon by quite a bit. But sometimes you'll see, instead of these lines where they're so close to Amazon's selling price and they just need to undercut them by a little bit, sometimes you'll see all the sellers down here following the same exact sales price, but Amazon's up here. So they're really undercutting them, just so you guys know. I'm sure you guys have seen that many times, but some of the beginners may not have seen that. So this is what you're looking for when you want to find out if Amazon's sharing the buy box. You don't want to just see if they're sharing the buy box once or twice, or maybe they shared it a year ago or 6 months ago, but they haven't shared it at all in the last 6 months, or maybe they're only sharing it in the last week or so, or the last month, and they're sharing it quite a bit, but the rest of the data, they've never shared it in the past. That's a red flag. I'm not saying stay away from a product like that, but that's definitely information that you want to really take into account when you're evaluating whether you should jump into that product or not. This is a perfect example of Amazon sharing the buy box. They shared it a year ago, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, and throughout that entire time, and the last 3 months, throughout the entire time that Amazon has been on this listing, they're consistently sharing the buy box at different price points, and some are undercutting it, some are matching it, and they're still sharing the buy box with Amazon. So if you find a product that has similar data as far as the buy box and Amazon, then it's a good sign that Amazon will share that buy box. So one more piece of information that I want to give you guys that I get a lot of questions on is, if Amazon has been on it for, let's say, 10 months out of the year, but the most recent 2 months they haven't been on it, should you jump on that listing? I would say it just depends, right? It's a case-by-case basis, but typically I would like to see a much larger gap between when the last time Amazon was on that listing. Amazon can come back into a listing whenever they want, but typically I like to see a much bigger gap than just a month or two, or maybe or even a week, obviously. But I like to see a few months before I can be like, all right, they've been off of it for a while, I can jump back in and then see if I can make some sales. But if they've pretty much dominated not dominated, but if they've pretty much been on the listing for the good part of the last year, then I would say stay away from that product, because chances are they're going to come right back. Now, one more thing that I want to tell you guys, on listings like this that are completely straight line, I've actually, when I first started out, I wanted to know why there were so many sellers selling right alongside Amazon when it didn't look like they shared at all. So I actually bought a product that looked just like this. It was a completely straight line, no ups, no downs. Amazon completely dominated that entire buy box the entire time. Bought the product, just bought a test batch just to see if it would sell. And sure enough, it did. It sold right alongside Amazon. It said I never won the buy box, not even once, but I was consistently making sales. I only bought like 40 or 50 units of it, but it sold out within like a day because it was a fast moving product. But it never showed that I sold or that I won the buy box. So sometimes you really just don't know who's getting the buy box, in my experience. But would I use that as a consistent strategy to follow? Absolutely not. Use the strategies that I showed you in this video so that you guys can give yourself the best chance to actually sell your products and not be stuck with all the inventory if Amazon completely dominates the buy box. I did it one time, never did it again because it was too risky, right? Imagine if I would have bought a bunch of products or replenished that same product, spent $10,000 on it, and then Amazon never shared with me again. I would have to wait until they sold out, and hopefully the price was still profitable at that point. There's just too many factors to take into account if you do something like that, but just wanted to share that little tidbit of information with you guys. But this is how you compete with Amazon. If you guys need more examples, or you want me to go more in depth into a certain topic like this, or maybe I skipped over something that you wanted me to cover, let me know down below in the comment section, and I will do another keep a video or competing with Amazon video. All right, guys, I will see you guys in that next video.